But the thing is, so I was 21 at the time, and honestly, I looked 12. I used to power dress, right? And my granddad had dropped me off because I didn't drive at the time. And so I'd like have my skirt on and my suit jacket. And I was going to some really tough schools, like in Bradford and Huddersfield. And I learned a lot of instincts there. I remember being in this one science lesson, and there must have been like year 10 or year 11 boys. And 5 minutes before the bell went, they left. And so I learned to be in front of the door 5 minutes before the bell left. That science lesson was fine because it didn't have two doors. Most science classrooms do.
So you just went the other
So
one.
that was difficult. It was like science, they're probably going to lose that battle.
Yeah.
But I mean, there were so many things I learned there. Like one of my favourite stories is just being in like a science classroom, like the things like boys will say, like, Miss, just lean over a little bit more, will you? And you're like, what does that mean? And then you kind of like get all that. But because of that experience, and because I was in really tough schools, and I had to just think on my feet all the time, never knowing, like you get a timetable as a supply teacher in a secondary school, and you're at one end of the school for this lesson, then you're at the other end of the school for another lesson. You have no idea where it is. You got to trust these kids who are out to get you, at the end of the day. And it's stressful, but the skills you learn are amazing. And then, so I actually ended up, while I was on supply, I found out about, this is so weird, like this would ring alarm bells for you. So I found out about a school, and it wasn't a great school, in Halifax, where they had a dance teacher for a few days a week, but apparently it wasn't working out. Now, she wasn't a qualified teacher. I think she was sort of just coming in. And I heard about it on the grapevine, and my mum was like, you should ring them up and just see. So I think I rung them up, and I must have got a phone call maybe a few days later, and they were like, yeah, come in for an interview. And I was like, okay. And what was weird about it is they said, oh, come in and we'll kind of teach a lesson together and then we'll have a chat. Okay. Yeah, well, the interview, like I dressed in all my dance clothes, and I took my interview clothes with me. And it was a PE teacher, and they were doing not what I would call a dance lesson, but a movement lesson, where they taught it. And I felt very much like the TA.